There is so much joy. So much joy. Right here is, that touches my heart. There's joy all around us, and there's so much joy in us. And what Judy said is so true. We've got to recognize it. We don't. We go through life in our heads and, with blinders on, and we don't see it. We don't recognize all the beauty and the joy that is around us. And our lives are joyful, and they can be joyful if we make that intention, and if we want it to be joyful. So let me read one of the quotes by George Bernard Shaw that I love, and he calls this the true joy of life. And I so agree with this. He says, "This is the true joy of life. The being used up for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one. Being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy." Don't you love that? Because I've been there. I've been that little clod before too, of ailments and things and just thinking about myself. And I've been the type that knows that there's something that is so mighty out there that needs me. And that's what we're talking about. He says, "I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the community. And as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die." Do you love that? Thoroughly used up. Isn't that the truth? That you don't want to die with your song in you, right? You want to give, and that's what, it's so perfect. And I was watching, I don't know if you guys saw 2020 with Angelina Jolie was interviewed by Tom Brokaw. Did you see that? I thought it was really good, and about the Olympian, and he was a World War II hero, and they're doing a movie called Unbroken, I think, and they were interviewing her. And here's what she said. I was thinking about this joy, and she said her joy comes from being a part of something good. Being a part of something good. And each one of us, I so believe that I'm not talking about just getting a piece of joy here and a piece of joy there. I'm talking about living a joyful life. And usually it does come from being a part of something that is important to you, something that is good, be it common ground, like you were talking about everybody at the chapel. I look at you guys, out at hospitality, everybody's coming together. You're a part of something. You're a part of something bigger than yourself. It doesn't even have to be a spiritual community. It can be a part of a family, part of a good friendship. When you are more than just the selfish little clod. I love that. I love that term. But, you're more than that. That's who we are, is this incredible being. And that's what gives me joy, is to know I'm more, and to know that whatever's in me can serve to be out, to someone else. Common ground is something good. And I feel like these 10 years that we've put this together has brought me more joy than any of you will ever get. Well, I don't know about, but it's given me lots and lots of joy. And so I look at, your lives, or you look at your lives and see, what it is that gives you so much joy. I was looking at Eden singing. He had my little 9-year-old grandson had a Christmas play, and he was practicing his part, and he had one line. He was upset about that, but he had one little line, and but he was singing, and he was just kind of like this, and practicing, and he had no expression, or anything. He was really bad, and I'm kidding, but anyway, so we went to the play, and all of a sudden it came alive because there was a group, there was a whole bunch of them, and they all sang together, and he was animated, and he was having the greatest time, and I'm thinking, that's what we're talking about. When he's alone, it wasn't the same as when he was apart. You know what I'm saying? We need each other. Together is better. Together is always better. And see, joy just comes when we're a part of something. But guess what? It comes from here. That's the truth. It comes from here. It doesn't come from everything out there. What are the things, Judy mentioned, what are the holiday things, that make you joyful? And for me, it's little baby's toes. Oh, I just love baby's toes. They're just so cute, and smelling them. I love that. And it's a horse blankets. Name some stuff. I want to know some other things that make you go inside and think something. It doesn't have to be Christmassy, but anything that just brings you joy inside. What touches your heart? Yeah. Tamales, yeah. See? Baked potatoes for me. Go ahead.
The smell of my cat's paws.
Yes. See, these are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. Those are the things out there. But I want to tell you something. And I got to thinking about this, and I read a lot of Eckhart Tolle. He's my guru. Not really, but I like him a lot. Here's what he says, is that all of those things, you know, and the bottom line of this talk is that the joy that we feel from these things, from the cat paws, from the horse blanket, from whatever we're feeling, isn't from out there. Now, this is interesting. The joy we feel is not from those things. You know, it's not from the baby's toes, even though that's a reflection of it. The joy we feel comes from inside of us. You know, we don't experience joy out there. We experience it in here, and what is out there is a reflection. See? So let me tell you, if you're feeling really dull in here, you don't see the joy out there, right? So our job is to cultivate that quality, that state of being of joy, so that you see it everywhere. And then the more that you draw on it, the more that you see it in everything. You see those flowers and it's like, wow, those are beautiful. You know, wow, that woman's beautiful. You know, wow, that guy's beautiful. Because you've got so much joy inside of you. So it doesn't come from, you know, putting all these beautiful, wonderful, awesome things out there. It comes from right here. It's a reflection. Here's what he says. And joy, he says, we really have, when you say I enjoy this or that, it's a misinterpretation. It makes it appear that the joy comes from what you do, but that's not the case. Joy doesn't come from what you do. It flows into what you do from a place deep inside of you. Do you get that? Just think, when we have this energy of joy inside of us, we push it out to the world. I don't know, push it out, that's not the right word. When it's reflected out there by our energy of seeing it. Does that make sense? And we change the world that way, you know? And he says that this misperception that joy out there is kind of dangerous, because he said it makes us believe that our happiness and our joy can be derived from something outside of us. And it can't be. The joy comes from you, because who you are is joy anyway. You are an energy of joy. You're not a human being, you know, that is just flesh and bones. You're this energy of joy that has a human being in you. Does that make sense? I love that. You then, see, he says, we look to the world then to bring us joy, and that's not true, because joy is who we are. And he says that what we see, everything we see then is just the reflection of who we are. I mean, think about how that changes your life and how that changes what joy means to you. You create it. You can be happy. You can be joyful. You can be peaceful, because everything emanates. We create our worlds. We create them ourselves. So, I mean, this always, I know I talk so fast, and it just makes me excited to think that we know this. We're conscious of this, and each of us know this, and we have the opportunity to change our life. So that means that there's more meaning in our life than you could ever imagine. Your life has meaning. And sometimes I think we forget that. We just think we're just a bag of bones, you know, or a selfish little clod, like he said. But our life has meaning, because the truth is that joy is a state of being. Just like peace is, just like love we talked about. It's a state of being, and it's who we are. And once we get it, boy, you know, it changes everything that we do. You know, he says that love, peace, and joys are states of mind, and they don't have an opposite like maybe pleasure does. That a pleasure is a state of mind, and so there's an opposite. When you experience pleasure, you experience pain too, don't you? Because they're opposites, and we live in a world of opposites. But when you identify, see, with the God qualities, and these are the Advent qualities that we've been talking about all month, when we identify with these, and we know that we are the joy, and we know that we are the peace, and we know that we're the love and the hope, and that's the Advent qualities, there's no opposite. You know, there's no up and downs. You just identify with the quality that you are. You know you're that, and that comes first. You know, all of the emotions are subject to opposites. And I think that's really important, if we can get it, is to understand who we are at the cellular level. And who you are is this incredible love, incredible joy, incredible peace, you know. So here's what Eckhart Tolle says, that to feel it, sometimes we're not feeling it. Judy talked about a little bit, you know, that sometimes it's just we're dry, you know, we're not feeling it. He said, just get present. We're not going to feel joy when we're out there in the future or when we're looking in the past. We have to be present. And when we're present with everything, guess what? We smell the rose. We actually smell it. You know, the horse blanket, you know, we smell it, or we see it with our eyes. We bring all of our senses to it. That's what makes us present. And when we are present, we're joyful. When we're not present, we're not joyful. It's something else. So our whole key to everything is to be in the now, to get present with what we see, where we are. You know, when we're with another person, be present with them. And here's what he says is that, I love this. He says, you know how you can tell, he says, is there joy, ease, and lightness in what I'm doing? If there isn't, you're not present. You're not present. If you're not in joy, ease, or lightness, you know? And he says the how, and I love this, the how is always more important than the why. You know, if you're doing something in life, how you do it. How you do it. What you bring, to the quality that you bring to what you're doing is way more important to what you're doing. I'm thinking about Common Ground, and I'm thinking about the work that we're doing over at the chapel and the different things. You know, we could go do it and be griping about it. We got this to do and this to do, and we've got this, we got to have this deadline, and we get there and we would get to the end of it and we would finish it. That's not what we're talking about. That's the how, or that's the why we had to do it. But how we do it, if we do it with joy and we do it with ease and we do it with love in our hearts, it changes everything. It changes the result. And everything in your life will change. You will manifest something differently if you come from your soul and you do it differently. And that's what he said. Eckhart Tolle was talking about the Bhagavad Gita, and he says it's one of the oldest and the most beautiful spiritual teachings in existence. And he says that it talks about karma yoga. And karma yoga is non-attachment to the fruit of your action. You know, non-attachment to Common Ground. We do our best, everything we can do to serve in Common Ground. You know, do our very best to be present every moment and love what we're doing. Talk to everybody, to be joyful, you know, and whatever happens, happens. You know, we're not attached to the outcome. That's karma yoga. And that's with our lives. Whatever you're working on in your life, just be present with it and joy comes. Don't worry what's going to happen in the future. Just be present. Do your best and be present. And that's my prayer for each of us, is that what Rumi said is that when you do things from your soul, it's like a river of joy moving through you. Doesn't that sound beautiful? A river of joy can move through us as we do things from our soul, which means be present. That's what it means. Be present. Do things, think things from this place. You know, just be in this place. And guess what? Everything will be a reflection of our joy. And that's my prayer for you, is that it's a reflection from deep, deep in that place of magic joy. Thank you.